Oh dear, Harry. It might be increasingly cold, lonely and alienating sitting up there, aloft your moral high horse. As you trot through fields of gold and enlightenment leading you to the promised land of endorsements and brand representation, pausing occasionally to look down on us mere mortals and share with us crumbs of your privileged wisdom. But you must still feel cock-a-hoop. What a grand life you must have. But your latest words of advice have fallen well short of someone who hoped to be a man of the people. Advising people stuck in jobs that don't bring them joy to quit is not just careless and foolhardy but yet another sign of how utterly disconnected you are from reality. My disappointment is palpable. Of all the royals, you always showed glimmers of humility and vulnerability. And your acceptance of a fluctuating mental health endeared you to me. However, hearing from an Eton-educated, elitist and advantaged man, speaking from his £11 million mansion in California, that leaving work should be celebrated, is unforgivably irresponsible. Harry, you're so out of touch. You are so detached and muddled that it would be funny if it wasn't so worrying. Of course, the theory of giving up your job because it bores you less or frustrates the hell out of you and makes you want to suffocate your coworkers is an ideal one. It might be the answer to many people's problems and deep unhappiness. After all, we spend 1/3 of our entire lives working. Yet the lack of foresight and responsibility, the sense of privilege oozing from your very statement, Harry, has enraged me. Imagine quitting your job with a mortgage hanging over you and with no means, whatsoever, of supporting yourself, unlike the princes among us who might have extricated themselves from their greater family to pursue commercial projects that will bring endless wealth. It would be financial suicide. As a champion of mental health awareness, your words are, at the very best, careless. Just imagine what getting into financial difficulty, losing your credit rating and facing a bleak financial future would do to your mind and spirit. Your observations are the preserve of the wealthy, comfortable, crusty upper/middle classes who don't need to stress about where the next meal might come from. I've recently come across a few young men who appear to be having existential crises. They are wondering what to do with their lives, spend their time navel-gazing and pondering their role in the world and what contribution they might be expected to make. The pursuit of happiness is essential. But so is food on the table and the ability to pay the bills in this rat race in which we find ourselves. There is a very positive movement towards quality of life and understanding that we should all attempt to work to live, and not live to work. The Swedes established that decades ago and created better working environments for most, if not all, workers, providing and implementing employment laws and parental rights in most businesses and professions. I think daily about the people who take our refuse away, about those working night shifts because they have mouths to feed, about those on the bare minimum wage who are forced to clean toilets and wipe blood from the walls of our hospitals, about those who are out in our fields in all weathers, picking crops with their ailing bodies. Do they have the luxury of wondering what might bring them happiness? Do they have the extravagance to forego their meager salary, turn their back on volatile employment for the sake of pursuing happiness and joy? I think not. I am lucky to be doing a job I largely enjoy, but I've had complex moments in my career where I've wanted to step away and start afresh. And then I would look over my shoulder and see 4 mouths that needed feeding and bills that needed paying, and I plowed on. I think we all agree that if you, Harry, weren't from the Windsor estate but were, instead, sitting on a council estate, those audacious words would not have come out of your egocentric, privileged mouth.